at the Det Dream Racing Stables with Pitt Buerta to chat about his runners for Hollywood Beck's Kenilworth on Saturday the 20th of April. Pitt, thanks for your time as always. Okay, busy day for you on Saturday, starting in race 1, the 1,000 metre maiden juvenile plate, 16 horse field, so it's going to be a tough ask. You're saddling Garden Sun, 2-year-old Flower Alley gelding. He's got the 5 draw, Keenan Stain on board. It's just coming back off that debut on the 2nd of April over 1100 and dropping down to the 1,000 here. How's he come on from that, and what can you tell us about him?
Yeah, look, he was, last time was just a gallop for him, and I was probably a little bit unfair that the race was quite strong. So, the pace of that race was just way too strong for him, and he needs another run, another educational run, and pretty much that's what this is. He's a bit of a slow maturer and needing a bit of time. He's a Flower Alley, so beautiful action horse, just going to get better with time and just needing the experience. So that's pretty much what this is.
Then race 3, 1,000 metre maiden plate. You've got 2 in this one, Approach Shot and King of the Seas. So Approach Shot, 3-year-old Gimme the Green Light. He's got the second 2 draw, Cornet Offer on board. He's been new to you, or relatively new to you, and since he's arrived you've been keeping him to the sprint distances, and he seems to be enjoying that. And then King of the Seas, the new Predator, which we were chatting about earlier off camera, 3 draw, Keenan Stain on board, and you're also dropping him right down to the 1,000. What can you tell us about these 2?
Okay, so Approach Shot is, I don't think he's a bad horse. He's quite a decent horse, but unfortunately he's got a bit of a wind problem. So, that's the reason for coming back in trip. He's doing very well. His work as well. He's in a good space, and he's running well. So, as long as he continues to run well, we're happy. Just need another good run from him. There's some decent horses on. When you look at the collateral form line in this race, I think Connery and Maneki Neku. So they obviously going to be hard to beat on the collateral form lines. But he's an honest horse, and he tries. A lot really just depends on whether he can see it out with his wind problem. But he's very well, and I think he'll run a good honest race and hopefully be competitive. King of the Seas is a new horse to the yard and having his first run with us, so he's in need of a run, and I think the 1,000 meters is a little bit too short for him, but he's just going for a good gallop where to bring him on where we can work on. So I'm hoping that he surprises me, and I'm hoping that he's not too outpaced. If not, I think he'll run a fair race. But I do believe that he's in a race that's going to be just a little bit too quick for him.
Okay, and then race 5 is the 1,200 metre open maiden. You're saddling King of the Series. He's got the 8 draw, Keenan Stain on board, 54 to shoulder, and he's going out in blinkers on Saturday. So he's been freshened up a little bit, and you're trying him over shorter here. How's he doing at the moment?
He's a very difficult horse to work with. He does. You can't just do whatever you want to do with him. He's quite difficult. So I think he's got the ability, but to get him to put it in has been the challenge. And we brought him back to the sprint races just to try and see if we can try and get him to give off his best. He needed his last run quite badly. He has come on from that. So I think this is a race where he can run a much better race again and hopefully return to form. So his work has been okay. He seems to be quite well within himself. He's happy. He's in a good space. So I'm hoping for a very good run from him.
So just hope he turns up in a good mood on the day.
That's it, yeah.
Race 6, the 1,600 metre fillies and mares open maiden. You're sending out Sansa Stark, who is such a lovely filly. 3 draw, Richard Faree on board. She does have the 59 to shoulder, but she's really an improving sort. Second last time out over 1,800, so just a little bit of a sharper mile here. what are you hoping from her on Saturday?
Well, I'm hoping for a win. Look, she's a filly that I've always thought, like, you know, she's just not strong enough. She just hasn't been showing you at home that she's quite strengthened up yet, and she's ready for it. And her last run, you know, I thought that she might just need the run, but I thought she was in a very good space and put up her best work that she had ever done, and for that reason thought that she would be competitive. I think she ran a very nice race. She ran on very nicely to a point and then just didn't quite go through with it, but you know, returned not blowing that much. She did canter down to the start that day very short, and I was actually of the opinion that she was going to get scratched behind the pens, but yeah, Richard warmed her up and she passed fit to race. So we came back and we've done a lot of you know, looking around to try and see if we can find any problems with her, and we have. So we've had a bit of time to work on it, maybe not enough time to do exactly what we need to do with her, but we've brought her back to the mile, and I think although we don't quite have her at her very best, it's probably the best that we're sending her out so far. So again, a competitive field, but I think she should be competitive. You know, Richard will just have to, again, just warm her up a little bit before the race. But I think that she's going to be competitive because now that we found the problem, we're on the right track. So hoping for a competitive run.
Lovely. Race 8, 1,000-meter middle stakes. You're sending out Escarpment. He's got the 5 draw, 52.5 to shoulder, and JP van der Merwe on board. Looked to be improving last time out. How's he doing at the moment?
Look, Escarpment's he's a very, very nice horse. He's a horse with loads of ability. Unfortunately, he's also got problems, and you know, we've got to pretty much treat every run of his like it could be his last. This is a very, very strong race. It just, you know, this was the best that there was available for him. He is probably going to need this run. You know, he's had a bit of a break from his last run. He came back quite sore after his last run, so we've had to nurse him into this run. It's 1,000 meters, so you can sometimes get away with it. But the strength of the race makes it a bit difficult. There's a hell of a lot of pace in this race, and for that reason, you know, the last 100 meters might just catch him out. But in my opinion, I think he is a horse with ability, and I think he's good enough to compete in a field like this when he's 100%. So I'm really just hoping that everything goes well for him, and I will definitely say don't leave him out of your pick sixes and, you know, all your bets, but he's just not a horse that we can rely on come Saturday.
Well, I hope he has a smooth run into this from here.
Thank you.
And then last one on the day, the Class 4 over a mile, another biggish field, 12 horses. You're sending out Baton Rouge, a 3-year-old Vercingetorix, 6 draw, Keenan staying on board, and 54.5. Won well last time out and seems a really nice sort.
You know, I was a little bit confused with his run last time. I didn't really know what to expect because on when you look at him, he's a beautiful looking horse and his work was good. The form just didn't match his work, so, you know, I was a little bit hesitant and wanted to wait and see what he did. I think he won a very nice race, and, you know, he came back very well from it. This run is maybe just a little bit too soon to that run, but it is his first run out of the maidens, and obviously it's going to be a big ask for him. So, you know, I just thought, well, seeing as he came back so well, let's put him in and let him have another run and see what he can show us. And if he can run a fair race, then we know that you know, last run wasn't just a fluke run. So that's pretty much what we're hoping for here. I wouldn't be surprised, just because of what I expect of him, I wouldn't be surprised if he had to pop up and win again. But in all honesty, that's not what I'm expecting on Saturday. I'm just wanting to see him run a good race and, you know, have a very good experience first running out the maidens and just show us that the ability is there.